Oh, it's day 2. Let's get this show on the road. So welcome to day 2 of Stockton Con 2016, and today I'm going to do things a little bit differently because I've already had my fair share of shooting a lot of people, awesome costumes, and some pretty nice greasy food, and the hotel as well. But today I want to do something a little bit different because conventions can provide a lot of fun things, but what really builds a huge foundation when it comes to everything in the convention is, of course, the exhibitors and their merchandise. And of course, if you guys like myself are a hardcore pop culture and comic book fan, I would have to say that it can be fun to buy new and exciting things, but at the same time, it can be a real drain on your wallet. Which is why today, I'm just going to go through little tips and tricks on what you can and what you should and should not spend on pretty much on a small cash budget. And today I'm going to take this $120 and see if I can spend, well, less than $120. Conventions. Whether you love them or hate them, let's be honest, you can find pretty much 90% of everything you're looking for in one little spot. Now, depending on who's selling it, that's a whole different story. It varies sometimes depending on what you're looking for, whether it be stuffed animals, comic books, toys, or other long forgotten little merchandises that were popular once, but now were discontinued. Also, artwork is also not so bad either, depending on what you want to buy, because Artist Alley has a wide variety of amateur artists who draw pretty much anything for the right price that you will ask them for. Or if you like something in particular, it looks pretty nice too. Also, sometimes at conventions you should also, if you happen to be the first 100 people, make sure you grab a tote bag. As soon as the convention opens, I usually wait about an hour, maybe 2 at the most, for the crowd to scurry on in and look around all the merchandise. That way, when the exhibitors are handling one too many customers trying to sell a lot of their merchandise, there's a good chance you can actually sneak away with a few good little nuggets or items here and there. Oh, speaking of good items, oh my god, these are the Happy Meal Pokeballs from Burger King. Okay, so back in 1999 when Pokemon was pretty much a big hit in the US, they were selling a lot of merchandise, and one of those merchandises were the Pokeballs sold as Happy Meals at Burger King.
Pokemon.
So when you buy the Pokeballs, not only do you get the Pokeball itself, but you also get a neat little Pokemon toy on the inside. And these can vary from little Pokemons with wheels that you can charge up and shoot out the little ball, or little keychains, which look pretty nifty and cool. Now, if I remember correctly, it would seem that these things were discontinued after a couple of months because from what I hear, they were a bit of a choking hazard with a lot of small children and whatnot. So this is, without a doubt, a limited supply, and it's very hard to find. And for $5, I'd say a little too high, but I figured, how often do I come across these things? So I figured, why not? $5. So after buying a couple of Pokeballs, I decided to narrow my search down to what I love most, and that is X-Men comic books. I love the X-Men with a gleaming passion. And one of my greatest collections of all time would have to be the Uncanny X-Men comic book set. I just love them ever since from the very beginning of the cartoon series till now. And they're quite relatable, and they're pretty popular, and they're still entertaining to this day. And I would say, best superhero team out of any other superhero team out there, in my opinion. Which is why one of my personal goals is to collect every single Uncanny X-Men issue that I can find, either at conventions or on the internet. Mostly conventions are a lot more convenient for myself because they're all right in one little area, as I said before. But the thing about collections is that it's always best to bring a checklist with you so you know which ones you've already bought beforehand, because the last thing you want to do is spend $20 on the same old comic book that you bought already. Now, apart from comics and small little retro toys, you would be surprised what people bring for snacks to sell from across the globe. What kind of pastry roll is this? Does it look like Japanese or something? Or?
It's bread, Japanese.
Now, there are times where exhibitors would just say screw it and sell as much comic books as they can for as low as either $1 or 50 cents. Other times they would do half off sales, which seems okay, but it's just them unloading their, well, load after holding on to these comics for so long. And sometimes, depending on what type of particular comic you're looking for, it can be quite surprising how much they are for only $1 or 50 cents. Oh, hey again. Taking a little break for the second, because it can be very exhausting when it comes to walking the ground floors of Stockton, which is why I found this little corner right here, which I've called my little home for the day, and charging up my battery and cell phone as well. And it's a Pokemon Go, which is quite convenient because there's a Pokestop and someone dropped a lure over here. Ooh, Cubo! Fucker. Hey, gotcha. Okay, so apart from their venues, there's also the food that they serve as well. This one in particular is the fully loaded nachos. Sink it in. Take this bad boy in. It has chips, sour cream, a little bit of salsa, jalapenos, and some cheese as well to go with it. Mmm. Smells so delicious. Let's see how good it tastes. I always try to get a good scoop in. Wow, that's spicy, but it's a-okay. Well, it would seem that another day is over, and day 2 of StocktonCon 2016 is officially over. And I am quite relieved. Walking up and down this entire stadium can be very, very exhausting after a while. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck did I get? Well, let me segue to a cheap editing trick. Hey, and we're back to my humble abode. Now, let's see what I racked up for this evening. So today I purchased 2 of these lovely Pokeballs, each one being $5 a piece, so equaling out to $10. And inside one of them contains a Rapidash, which looks pretty awesome, and the other one is a Little Queen. Hey, 2 of my top 50 Pokemon. My favorite. Of course, then we move on down to Daredevil number 330. It's not much, but it has a Gambit appearance, and I'm a pretty big fanboy when it comes to Gambit. Originally marked for $150, but the lady was so nice she just knocked 50 cents off, making it $1. Over here we got 2 X-Men comic books, each one labeling this one labeled at $8, while the other one didn't have a price tag, so he just gave me $5. Then rounding things off with saying let's just call it $10 even, which I thought that was pretty awesome as well. We move on to these 3 fine, lovely issues of X-Men comics as well. What can I say? I can't get enough of it. This X-Men towel was about $15. This one, of course, $15 as well. And finally, the other one was about $13. Each one, all of them together, cost $43. But I would have to say that he made me a fair deal and gave me $40, which I thought was pretty nice of him. So if you look at the grand total of how much I spent here today, $10 for the Pokeballs, $1 for that comic book, $10 for that comic book, and $40 for this comic book, all equaling out to $61. Hey, that's pretty good. So in closing, I just want to say StocktonCon has been one hell of a weekend, and I very much look forward to next year as well. Maybe they still need to work on the crowds, but if you ask me, that's a situation for another year. Now that I finally got the batteries out of my suit, now that I finally got my batteries fully charged, it's time to, well, recharge mentally and physically. See you all next time on the Boob Tube.